Welcome to Game Chat with Bwana, your source for gaming news and reviews. Now, here's Bwana McCall.
It's Game Chat with Bwana, episode 23. Welcome to everybody. This is Monday, July 11, 2011. We are back. We took a week off because we wanted to shoot some fireworks, eat some hot dogs, and say Happy Independence Day to the United States of America. Because we're patriotic like that. Happy 20,000th birthday, America. Because you're like old and stuff. But we took last week off with Game Chat with Bwana. This is episode 23. We're going to do it this week. We're not going to do 2 weeks worth of stories because here at Game Chat with Bwana, we only talk about the last week's worth of stories because otherwise we'd be here all night. We talk about 7 days worth of stuff and we try to find the creme of the crop, the creme of the crop, the creme of the crop, the cream that's out there. We try to find the best stories out there and we mess up. We don't find all the good stuff, and that's where you guys come in. You go to my forum at bwana.tv/forum, and then you say, hey, Bwana, why don't you talk about this? And I go, yeah, well, that's a good idea. And I talk about that, and we talk about this, and we talk about that, and then all of a sudden, I put all this together in a giant video, upload it to the tubes of YouTubes and the internet's tubes and dump trucks and whatnot. And then all of a sudden, we got a Game Chat with Bwana episode, just like this one's going to be episode 23. And I hope you guys had a great week, a great weekend. We had a lot of stuff happen. This past week, there was a giant Steam summer sale. Amazon also had some July 4th and Independence Day sales and direct-to-drives having sales. So there's just games flying off the shelves left and right. And it's just been a lot of stuff happening. We had a great esports weekend. The NASL finals, North American StarCraft League, had their finals this weekend. And there was just a lot of stuff happening in the gaming arena. So we try our best to cover some of the best stuff. But that's what we do here at Game Chat with Bwana right here. And that's what we're going to talk about. But let me talk about the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. I'm part of the Tech Podcast Network. And what we do is that we rustle up a whole bunch of you noobs. All you newbies out there, or if you're not a newbie, you just want to be part of a podcasting community network, go over to techpodcast.com, check out all the great podcasts we have over there. And, you can become a part of this community. We help you along. We give you tips. We give you hardware tips. We give you sound advice. I remember that store. There was a store called Sound Advice. Pretty neat. But we'll also promote your shows. We do cross promotions, and also you can get involved in our advertising campaigns. And we recently we brought up, we recruited about 12 new shows just this past weekend. So a lot of you are listening to me or other people promote the Tech Podcast Network, and I want to thank everybody for being a part of it. TechPodcast.com, head over there and become a part of our community, and you can get your Tech Podcast on over there. So without further, we're going to get started, and that's not the story I want to talk about. But the first story is we're going to discuss some sales. And I don't like talking about the NPD when it comes to exact numbers because they're like almost always wrong. What I do like to talk about when I bring up NPD stories is trends and what I think about them and possibilities and things like that. So this particular story over on joystick.com talks about how NPD estimates that we gamers spent $5.9 billion in game sales in the first quarter of this year. Now that is a 1.5%, I believe, increase. Yes, a 1.5% increase from the same period last year. So it's not necessarily a huge increase. But I would generally say that, but let me first, before I get into it, NPD generally talks about only brick and mortar sales. So you walk into a store, you buy a box copy, or you go to Amazon.com. I don't even know if they track the Amazon sales, but when you buy a box copy of a game, You walk into GameStop. That's primarily what NPD tracks. They don't track digital sales at all. So it's kind of a limited. That's like I said, it's not always accurate. I always like to look at the trends though. But from my perspective, we gamers still spend money. From the limited circle of people I talk to, and kids that are working. A lot of you kids are working this summer. You're still buying games. You may not be buying cafe mocha lattes for $15 at Starbucks anymore, but you'll buy that video game. You may not be buying, I don't know, you may not be getting a McDonald's value meal, but you'll go buy a TF2 hat. Yeah, I was there. I saw it. We are still spending money on games, and that's healthy for the gaming industry. And it's always a positive and negative. It's kind of a two sides of the same, two basically flipping a coin. It's good that we're spending money, but it can be bad that we're spending money because a lot of these gaming companies like to nickel and dime us on every little detail about a game. So if they know we're spending money, they'll dangle some stuff in front of us, say, hey, you're going to spend money on this, aren't you? But this article, it kind of highlights something about the NPD. NPD really needs to get on the ball and track digital game sales, because that's where I spend almost all my money on games. I can safely say the last 20 games that I've bought, 80 to 90% of them have been digital. Very few of the games that I've bought, I think the 2 box copies that I have are a Little Big Planet 2 for PS3 and Rift for PC. The rest of the games that I bought, hey, it's just been all digital. So check the story out over on joystick.com. Hopefully NPD will get on the ball, but you guys are definitely spending money. I will spend, I kind of gave myself a budget for the the Steam sales, and I was oddly surprised that there wasn't a lot of games that I wanted that were on sale. Then I came to the conclusion that, hey, maybe I have every game I want. Perish the thought. There's not a lot of games out that I want that I don't have. And that's a good place to be. That's a blessed place to be. So that's kind of cool. But I did manage to get into this next story's thing called Team Fortress 2. Yeah, all that money that I put aside for Steam sales kind of went towards Team Fortress 2. All of a sudden, I put money in my Steam wallet, and I found myself buying freaking keys. And I told myself when keys came out, brr, rubbish. This is all rubbish. I will never give Valve money to purchase a key, to open a virtual crate, for a chance to open a freaking case, to get a garbage hat. Never! You couldn't pay me 50,000 pence wads in mediocre media diamonds to do this. Valve is crazy. Next thing you know, I'm buying keys left and right. All the money I put aside for Steam is going towards keys. Yeah. It's a sad day in Bwannaville because Bwana's buying keys. But I ain't buying no more. I ain't buying no more this week. The next story, we're going to talk about TF2. TF2, and we got the TF2 bug has rebitten. I say rebitten because we've been bitten by the TF2 bug many times in our community. We've been bit by the bug mainly because the community's been injected with new life because it went free to play, and we've got a ton of new players. So you'll find like almost all the servers out there are like either full or have people on them. So a lot of people are playing TF2 right now, but there is a little bit of a concern with TF2. A lot of the free to play players are not necessarily friendly. And that's why we're going to talk about this story, because a guy created a mod that essentially will kick you if you're not if basically you have to have bought the game. You have to be a tier 2 premium member to join his servers. So he created this mod so that we can install it so that no free players can join. And you're probably like, why would you do that? Why would you alienate the new crowd? And this article kind of points out his reasoning. He was interviewed, and basically he said that he has no problem with free-to-play users, but he feels that the community needs a barrier to entry. And I got to thinking about that. I was like, well, you don't have to have a barrier to entry. You know, sometimes it's nice to have one, but it's not necessarily required. And then he went on to the second point, which I kind of agreed with. And the point that I agreed with was, let me get his quote. Here we go. He said, I think that once the droves of inexperienced players dies down, we're going to be left with a slow, steady stream of new players. But primarily just cheaters and people evading server bans. And that's where I agree with him. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's definitely a high possibility that free-to-play accounts are going to be riddled with cheaters and people who are essentially just trying to take advantage of servers, harassing other people, and just basically causing trouble. So to have this particular mod would be useful in that case. And that's why I say, okay, I see a need for this mod. I wouldn't put it on my server unless that were the case. But one of the sad things I saw on this story was that he got death threats from other players. Why would you send a death threat to someone who created a mod on a video game? A death threat. Someone threatened to end his life because he created this mod. And I found that highly, highly disturbing and crossing so many lines I can't even fathom it. You know, part of me says, well, you know, a lot of these kids are just stupid. Because kids are stupid. That's part of being a kid. You're stupid. If you don't think you're stupid, then you'll find out when you become an adult. You look back and go, hey, I was stupid. Part of being a kid is stupid. And some kids will just, they're bored in the summer and they'll just do stupid things and they'll say, I'm going to kill you or something like that. I can understand that. But there may be some people in that may be serious. And that's where it gets a little bit disturbing. So, yeah. Very, very disturbing, guys. And if you're a stupid kid, stop being stupid. You know, try to mature a little bit. Make your mistakes and move on. We don't want stupid kids to be stupid forever because we can have stupid adults as well. Check this story out. That went on a tangent, didn't it? Check this story out over on joystick.com. Team Fortress 2 free to be kicked mod. Creator speaks on the free-to-play transition. Oh, yeah. While we're on the topic of TF2, we do have a TF2 server in the ATB community. This is like the 15,000th time I've opened a server. We only got one this time. Last time I had like 3. But we do have a TF2 server. If you don't know the IP address, a good way to remember it would be hats.bwana.tv. Hats.bwana.tv should resolve to the IP address of the server, and you can add that to your favorites. So check it out. This is over on joystick.com. Team Fortress 2 free to be kicked mod. Creator speaks on the free-to-play transition. Now we're going to shift gears and talk a little bit about Planetside 2. And this was announced this past 7 days. I'm not going to say week because it's the beginning of a new week. But this past, let's see, on July 8th, we were presented with a trailer for Planetside 2. And I gotta say that this is a title that has interested me because I don't know if a lot of you have ever played Planetside, but it was one of those games that kind of experimented with a new twist on an existing genre. We had the MMORPG genre, which was dominated by sci-fi and fantasy, you know, lore type of deals, and it had the same type of UI. I mean, what you see in World of Warcraft was going on back then, same type of stuff. Planetside took a chance and said, hey, let's mesh first-person shooters and an MMO into the same game and see what comes about. And what came about was a pretty successful formula. So Planetside 2 hopes to capitalize on that and to improve on that when it comes out. I don't know if a date has been established yet exactly. I don't see it in this article, and I don't think it's been established yet. But if you watch the trailer, it looks pretty decent. If you've never played Planetside 2, think of, if you've ever played MAG on the PS3, think about that. It kind of reminds me of MAG as far as how big the battlefields and the scope of the game is, but it's more persistent world, and you definitely get an MMO feel with it. But check out Planetside 2 if you haven't already. Check out the trailer. I believe Planetside 1 may be free right now. I'm not sure, but I'll have to check on that. I think it's either free or very cheap. Quite sure it's still going on. Yeah, Planetside 2 mashes up MMO and FPS once again. Check it out over on joystick.com.
Game Chat with Bwana is recorded live before a worldwide audience every Monday night. You can participate by suggesting news stories. Just register an account in our forums at bwana.tv/forums.
All right, we're going to move on to the next story, and we're going to get into a slew of Battlefield 3 stories. Battlefield 3 stories, and I'm looking forward to this title, even though there's some things I don't agree with. We're going to talk about some of those things today. But this article over on Rock, Paper, Shotgun talks about some of the Battlefield 3 features that were revealed. And I want to focus on just one thing right now. This article talks about some of the changes to the classes, like the medic class is gone. What they're going to do is they're going to mesh the assault class and the medic class into one, which we already knew. So that's nothing new. But the thing I want to focus on is the support class. And what they're going to do with Battlefield 3 is give you the ability to provide cover fire. You're like, Bwana, well, we were able to do that before. Why is it any different now? Cover fire, if you don't know, is where you basically shoot at the enemy so that they can get behind cover and have your team advance or do something to cover them. So it's called cover fire. And the LMGs are very, very good for that because they can lay down a lot of bullets, not necessarily accurate, but just a lot of spray. So what they're going to do in Battlefield 3 is very, very cool, I think, because once you lay down cover fire over the enemy, and I'm going to read exactly what they say here so I don't butcher it. It says, when you lay down fire in close vicinity to an enemy with an LMG, the incoming barrage will show up as a graphical blur effect on his screen to stress him and let him know it's not safe to pop out from behind cover. Just as importantly, this mechanic also affects his character's in-game firing accuracy, making him less of a threat by using real-world tactics. So if you think about it, if someone's shooting at you with an LMG and you're behind cover, yeah, you're going to be a little bit rattled with all the bullets and all the debris and everything that's flying around you. So what Battlefield 3 is looking to do is to give the LMG class credit for that particular action. And you're going to be able to get experience points from doing this. So it's going to be interesting to see how this turns out. How they actually implement it, what are the ranges that are involved, what's the bubble, if you will, like if you shoot in between two enemies, is it going to affect both or just one? Some of the finer things are going to be questionable, but we'll find out once the game comes out. But I applaud Battlefield 3 for trying to, think outside the box a little bit, and not just give us another COD clone, which is what a lot of the shooters nowadays have been prone to do. Just give us another Call of Duty clone, and to do something like this adds an element of realism without taking away of the core gameplay mechanics, hopefully. But I applaud Battlefield 3 for doing this. So check the story out over on Rock, Paper, Shotgun. That little tidbit of a new feature from Battlefield that's coming. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about some features. This one's on joystick. They call it the Battlefield 3 is going all Burger King in multiplayer. What they are talking about in this article is basically all the different options that we're going to be getting with Battlefield 3. And it's probably not going to be all of them, but they got a pretty good list here. What this article states is that there are going to be more modes than there were in Battlefield 2. We're going to have Team Deathmatch, and we're going to have an infantry-only mode. Now, a lot of Battlefield enthusiasts and purists might not like that, but they don't have to play it. That's the cool thing. It's going to be its own mode. They're also going to bring back Conquest. Everybody loves Conquest. That's the core Battlefield mode. And then Rush modes, which were introduced in Battlefield Bad Company 2. So yeah, we're going to get some pretty good selection and variety of different modes from Battlefield 3. So it will cater to everyone. Now, I look at the Team Deathmatch and Infantry Only mode, and I got to say, that I'm very sure that was put in there to kind of steal a little bit of Modern Warfare 3's thunder. A lot of Modern Warfare players, don't like the style of Battlefield. And not necessarily the vehicles, but, a lot of people just like that arcadey run and gun mode of COD. And if Team Deathmatch and Infantry Only mode is what I think it is, they may be trying to dive into that with the Frostbite engine. So this is going to be very interesting how this helps or hurts the sales of Battlefield 3. I personally will play every single mode in here. I like them all. I like Infantry Only mode. I like with vehicles. I like without vehicles. I like the Team Deathmatch. I like Conquest. I like Rush. I think just to have that variety is going to be very, very good, and it'll add to the lifespan of the game. You won't get burned out with only a couple modes of gameplay. You'll have that variety, and you'll be able to switch between other ones. So I kind of like this. So yeah, Battlefield 3 is going all Burger King on us. Have it your way. That's what this article's implying. Have it your way. So we're gonna have a very flexible shooter here with Battlefield 3. Check it out over on joystick.com. They got the details about this particular Battlefield story right there. And while we're on the topic of Battlefield 3, let's continue talking about it. Now, apparently there's been some rumors. And why do we have rumors? Because people make up stuff. It's the bottom line. This is words of wisdom by Bwana right here. Why do we have rumors? Because people make up stuff. Apparently, since the footage of Battlefield 3 on consoles came out, and people noticed that it didn't look as good, and were like, duh, it's not going to look as good. There was a rumor that the consoles are not going to have Frostbite 2.0. And you're like, okay, where did that rumor come from? Blah, blah, blah. It's not important. Like I said, people make up stuff. And DICE basically shot down a rumor. And in this article, there was I think it was a post on Twitter by one of the developers. Frostbite 2.0 is the engine that's running on the game on all platforms. So there you go. That is one of those rumors that's going to get squashed right away. It's going to be the first ever title to feature Frostbite 2.0, and it's going to be on all platforms. I don't know about the Wii U just yet, but they're probably going to port it to that eventually. So October 25th can't come fast enough, guys. It's looking pretty good for Battlefield 3. And finally, I'm going to go to this next story, which is not good news for the consumer, but it might be in the long run. Okay. The article's entitled Battlefield 3 May Not Reach Steam. And if you don't know what's going on with Steam, let me tell you. Steam is now in direct competition with EA. This came about because EA has launched its Origin platform. And what Origin is kind of a beefier version of EA's digital store. EA's had a digital store for quite a while. But Origin is looking to go to that next level. And if you look at Origin, you'll notice a lot of similarities with Steam. And what's happening is that EA is choosing to promote its own Origin platform, which they have the right to do. And it's kind of putting Valve and Steam into a position of a competitor. If you guys haven't heard, that Crysis 2 was recently pulled from Steam because of some DLC that was exclusive elsewhere and wasn't sold on Steam. So Steam was like, well, sure, if you're going to do that, I'm just going to pull the title from the store, because obviously nobody's going to buy Crysis 2 from us if you're going to be selling it, extra stuff elsewhere. So yeah, we got some competitive stuff going on here, and there are good and bad elements of what's happening with this competitive stuff. Competition is good because it drives down prices and improves features, and it promotes innovation. But at the same time, if you are a fan of one or the other, you're going to miss out, because the competition is going to take features from the other one, and it's going to be kind of a fight on like their first party titles. For example, if Valve were to sell, I don't know, Half-Life 3, they probably wouldn't put it on Origin. Just saying, that's the first party title. Just like with EA DICE with Battlefield 3. So this story came about that Battlefield 3 may not be on Steam because Battlefield 3 recently posted a list of digital distributors of Battlefield 3, and Steam wasn't on the list. So immediately everybody go, oh, here we go. Origin, Steam, going at it, fight, ding, ding, ding. Yeah, they're fighting. So yeah, it's I don't know what to make of this, guys. I don't want to take sides because, frankly, I like EA more than I like Activision. Even though I know EA's evil, I like them. I hate them less than I hate Activision. So I tend to buy more games from EA than I do from Activision. So I kind of want to see EA succeed, but I love my Steam as well. Like we just talked about the Steam sales that we just had this past week, and all the games and all the great deals we got. And the Steam community is awesome. So Origin is trying to get the same thing. And, if you look at it from a blimp view perspective, this is all good for us because now digital distribution is getting a wider budget. It's getting a bigger plateau to work with. Whereas before it was kind of like a niche, it's like, oh, I don't know if this game's going to be available for download. Now it's like whenever a PC game comes out, you best believe it's a digital copy available. And digital copies are actually very, very convenient, and we love them as PC gamers. But it's just so many different ways of looking at this. So we're going to be following this one very closely with Battlefield 3 and see how far this goes with Steam and the fight with EA DICE.
Please support Game Chat with Bwana by turning off your ad blocking software.
Okay. So let's move on to our next segment here. And we're going to talk about the whole EVE Online thing. You guys remember in the previous Game Chat with Bwana, we talked about the riots, the online riots that were going on with EVE Online and what was happening with that. And we were kind of amazed that EVE Online had its own council of players and a whole subculture and revolutions rising and all kinds of stuff. So that whole thing has now come to a halt. It is now peaceful in the world of EVE Online. The statues are no longer being bombarded. The trade stations are no longer being locked. Apparently CCP and the Council of Players, which has a name, Council of Stellar Management, man, these guys are awesome, CSM, have come to an agreement. And there's a video up here on this post on Rock Paper Shotgun, but they also have released an official statement that basically states that they're not going to be selling game-changing items. They're all going to be cosmetic. And you guys know how I feel about that. I hate the sale of game-changing items and making it like exclusive to that. So they're not going to do that. And they acknowledged that even further. They gave this council a look into their roadmap of where they're going. And they put them under NDA, of course. And the council kind of agreed, okay, that's a good way for the game to go. And this council is player elected. So it's not like they just took random players or some people from the media. These are player elected players. So it's kind of cool. So like they said, there's no plans to introduce the sale of game-breaking items or enhancements in the store. So they have come to an agreement. The riots have stopped. People are now, getting their EVE Online on. And I was talking to the chat room before the show. I was thinking about trying this game, downloading the trial, giving it a try, see how it is. Because I always hear people who are really into it talk about it, and they love it more than they love Oxygen. They really, really love this game. And they say they won't, they just, they put everything into it. So I've been interested to see it. I know a lot of traditional MMO players are turned off by it. Some say it's too difficult. I just wanted to try it, see how it is. So now I'm more willing to try it because there's no more riots going on. There's no more statues being bombarded. There's no more forks and pitchforks and all kinds of flying Molotovs flying over the galaxy. It's now peaceful. Birds are flying in space even though they can't breathe. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Check the story out over on Rock, Paper, Shotgun. We got the details over here. Now, speaking of EVE Online, you guys remember after E3, we were kind of excited about this title called Dust 514 because it was going to marry the PC MMO and the console shooter into the same world. And we're like, oh my goodness, nobody's ever done this before. What in the world is going on? This is so innovative, blah, blah, blah. So Dust 514 was advertised to be subscription free. And a lot of people were happy about that because they don't like paying subscriptions. They were like, okay, I want to be a part of this persistent world without having to pay. It's too many P words here. I want to be a part of this persistent world without having to pay a subscription price. Say that 10 times fast. So some new news has come out regarding this, and it's not exactly going to be free. Oh no, oh dear, oh gosh. Here comes the catch. Always a catch. Should make that a jingle. There's a catch. Apparently, you're going to have to pay a cover charge. After you buy the game, you're going to have to pay a cover charge. Now, what in the world are you talking about, Bwana? They're going to charge you a price of $10 to $20 to purchase credits. You're going to have to pre-buy credits in order to get into the game. And they're calling it a cover charge because you're paying up front to get in. After that, you won't have to pay anymore, apparently. Maybe. Perhaps. Oh boy, they said that we might go free to play down the line, but in the beginning, we have a cover charge just to manage the initial launch of it. This is kind of unique. I haven't seen this in other games before. I have seen it in other services, like the Link service I use called Pinboard. They charge you a one-time fee, and then you can use it for the rest of your life. They do that to deter spammers. So I've heard of services that do this, and even products. You guys know you can go to the store, buy something, and it's yours, theoretically. But I never heard of a game where you have to pay for the game and then pay an additional cover charge in order to play. So it kind of is weird that they would do this. But when you think about it, we're kind of already doing this right now with these. We're going to talk about this online pass thing and EA's online pass, where they're kind of doing that if you buy the game used, because you have to pay a cover charge to play online. We're going to talk about Sony and how they're going down this road of introducing this used game tax. So maybe this is Dust 514's used game tax, but they're charging it to everybody. That's where it becomes perplexing, because to pay twice for a game, I haven't seen that since DLC. Oh, I'll be here all week. To pay twice for a game is not something we're used to. That's why we cry about DLC. So this is kind of weird. I don't know how to feel about this. I like the idea of the game, and if it's what the game promises, I might be willing to pay that price, but it's a slippery slope. I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, I don't know. I got to really think about whether I want to pay a cover charge to play a game that I've already bought. So yeah, check the story out, guys. This is over on multiplayerblog.mtv.com. They got the details of it. I just don't know how to feel about it yet. So there you go. Okay. Now, let's talk about Green Lantern. Yeah, there's a new DLC coming to DC Universe Online. Oh, and it's gonna have a paid DLC for $10. Oh, and you're going to create characters that have lantern powers. Oh, how much do I love Green Lantern? Why do they do this to me? When I was playing DC Universe Online, that was the thing I was like, man, I wish I could create a lantern character. I really wish I can create a lantern character and use the lights, and if they can come out with different colors of light that you can choose with love and oh man, with rage and the red rings and the violet and indigo and all the different rings that it just opens up a whole new universe. I love Green Lantern, guys. And wow. And it is a DLC. Back in my day, we called these expansions, but they were $30, and this is actually a $10 DLC. But they're gonna bring 3 new scenarios. They will bring players to Star Labs, Hal Jordan's home of Coast City, and the Science Cell's prison on the planet of Oa. Just talking about it makes me want to reactivate my account just for this DLC. Bwana loves Green Lantern, guys. So check this story out. Green Lantern, one of my favorite parts of the DC lore, is coming to DC Universe Online as a playable character. They already have some of the story arcs in DC Universe Online for Green Lantern. If you played the game, you know. Wow. I wonder what kind of constructs they're going to have you create. I mean, obviously they're going to have to limit the amount of constructs you can create with the ring, because you just can't say, oh, I want to make a giant troll face to smash Superman's head. Go Power Ring, giant troll face, go. I don't know how they're going to do that. It's going to have to be a set of constructs, probably offensive, defensive. You know how they did the other powers and stuff. Check it out, guys. Joystick.com has the details over there. Now, while we're on the topic of Sony, let's talk about Mr. Yoshida, who has had an epiphany. He has had an epiphany. He has had a giant light bulb over his head. He goes, I have had an epiphany. It has come to my wonderful rich brain that we at Sony need to support indie developers. We need to support independent shops in order for innovation to proceed. Yes. We need this at Sony. Well, you're about 15 years too late, sir. I've been telling you, I've been telling them for years. That the best games come from independent studios. They do. They just do. That's where the big studios came from. They were small independent shops, came up with an idea in there. It took off, and then all of a sudden everybody got rich, and then they made a big studio, and they forgot where they came from. So he says here, we have to support those smaller teams. Without doing so, the whole industry will stall in terms of innovation, Call of Duty. Blink. Blink, blink. The whole industry will stall in terms of innovation, Super Mario. Blink. Blink, blink. So what they're going to do with the PS Vita is that they're going to make the developer kits a lot cheaper so that these small developer shops can afford them, and they're going to have a lower barrier to entry to develop on the platform. That's the whole spiel behind this. And they know that the mobile platform is already cheap. And, you know, if you think about it, the true intentions kind of come out. You know, Apple has a very cheap developer license, and, you know, Android has an even cheaper developer license. And, you know, in order to compete in that mobile space, you got to make it an easier way to do it. So I think they realize that, hey, there's money to be made from these independent developers. We must support these individual shops and small shops because the industry will stall as a whole if we don't do it today, tomorrow. No. Joystick.com has a story. Sony must support indie developers, says Yoshida. I need to draw a giant light bulb above his head because he just had an epiphany. Okay, next story. We're going to talk about Sony again. And remember, I was talking about that whole pass thing? Well, Sony's going to do it. Sony's going to do it. Sony's going to do it. Sony's gonna do it. They're going to introduce a PSN pass for Resistance 3. Now, what does that mean? It's almost the exact same thing that EA's doing with their online pass. If you buy the game new, you don't have to worry about it. If you buy the game used, you're going to have to pay that used game tax. The used game tax is back. So, again, you're going to be paying twice if you buy it used. So the whole used game versus the gaming companies, the used game market versus gaming companies battle continues. I, saw this coming when EA actually released theirs, and they had somewhat of a, I wouldn't call it a success, but they were met with not a lot of animosity. They were met with animosity, but not enough to really shut it down because they're still doing it. I think Sony said, well, that's actually a good idea because, people are buying used games and they're not buying them but not buying them new. And, that's the market we could be tapping into and blah, 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 blah. So the whole used game argument is kind of played out. I'd rather not get into that again because people go like, oh, they're not going to lose any money because somebody bought the game in the first place. And I look at that argument and I do a giant head shake. I'm like, oh. And then there's the argument of the potential customer and blah, 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 blah. It's just so much gray area in the argument. It's just a giant head shake. So the PSN pass is for Resistance 3. It is back. Check it out. Over on GamePolitics.com. I don't have an opinion on it yet. I really don't care. Because I don't buy used games, guys. I just don't. I did it for a little bit. And I just don't do it anymore. I know. I buy games new. I don't buy them used anymore. So check it out. They got the details.
Tune in to all things Bwana throughout the week on live.bwana.tv and on justin.tv/Bwana.
So, we're going to move on and talk about something quite amazing. This guy owns every US PlayStation 2 game ever. That's what I call a collector. Every US PlayStation 2 game is owned by a Hans76. He owns every North American PS2 game from Dot Hack to Zone of the Enders. Maddens and NCAA footballs and all whatnot. Can you imagine what it took for him to do that? I bet he had to buy some of these used. Wink, 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 wink. Wink, wink. I bet he had to buy some of these used, because if he bought all of these new, wow, that's a lot of burgers. It's a lot of burgers, guys. That's a lot of games. I really don't know what to say about it other than that. I'm just impressed. I mean, every time I see these collectors that collect anything and they just have this giant room dedicated to something, and you just see, like, you'll see action figures that haven't been opened. There's this giant warehouse like room that's full of them. You just go, wow. It takes a lot of dedication to collect these things, and patience and money. It's a hobby you have to invest time and money into. So yeah, I imagine this collection will be worth a lot of money. Probably in just another 5 to 10 years, it's going to be worth a lot of money, because all these kids that grew up on the PlayStation 2, you know, we grew up on like the Atari, you know, and the Commodore 64 and the television. So today we look for those old games we grew up with, and we pay a pretty penny to find rare games. So when you guys who grew up on the PlayStation 2 get old, I say old because you're going to be old, you're probably going to say, hey, I want to play Dot Hack. I would give 50,000 clams to anyone who can provide me with a PS2 version of Dot Hack. And then you go to this guy, and he's got it, and you give him $50,000, and he's rich. So there you go. Check it out, guys. This is over on GameSetWatch.com. This guy owns every US PlayStation 2 game. Impressive. Now, let's talk about this next story, which has a very improper and incorrect title. We're going to talk about the Galactic Warfare version 1.0 mod for Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. This article states that it's Modern Warfare 2. It ain't for Modern Warfare 2. Don't think it's for Modern Warfare 2. It's not for Modern Warfare 2. This is a Galactic Warfare mod. This is a Star Wars mod which transforms Call of Duty into Star Wars. And I played this last week. I have been playing it for, I don't know, when it was in beta. It's been worked on for like 2 years and some change. But when it was in beta, I spent like a whole week playing it, and people were like, wow, that's Call of Duty? And yeah, it's Call of Duty. It literally transforms Call of Duty into Star Wars. You got stormtroopers, you got the Resistance, you got different weapons, you got even TIE fighters and X-Wings flying over your head with airstrikes, and you know, you got these Pokeball-looking grenades instead of normal grenades, and everything's been updated, and it's a very clean mod. People look at it, and you really got to look closely to see the COD features in it, because it looks like a whole new game. And recently, Steam had Call of Duty 4 on sale for $10. So, those of you who bought it, you can download this mod for free. Galactic Warfare 1.0 mod has been released. It comes with like 6 or 7 maps. Let's see. 7 maps. They got Mos Eisley, Bespin, Bestine, Not a Cave, Junland Dusk, and Anchorhead. And, you know, I posted some screenshots on my Steam account of some of the gameplay. If you come on my Twitch TV channel, you can see in the archives where I actually live streamed it last week. Galactic Warfare 1.0 mod for Call of Duty 4. Guys, if you're into Star Wars and you got a copy of COD 4 laying around for PC, let's make that clear. This is for PC only. If you can't install this on consoles, so yeah, it's PC. That's why guys, this if you look at this mod, this is why PC gamers were up in arms about Modern Warfare 2. Because they stripped the entire modding community away. And when you got mods like this coming out, which could be a game by itself, and you really just strip away that capability, that's why we went nuts with Modern Warfare 2, man. It just really took so much away from the game. So check it out. This is over on GameStat. Watch again. And again, ignore the title. It is not Modern Warfare 2. It is Call of Duty 4. Okay? Okay. Now, we're going to talk about Mass Effect. We're not going to talk about the game. We're actually going to talk about the Mass Effect movie. There's actually going to be a Mass Effect movie. Those of you into Mass Effect will be happy to know that they're going to make a movie for Mass Effect. So they'll get your Mass Effect on. But they're going to be making an appearance at Comic-Con in San Diego coming up in July 21st. That's actually 10 days from now. The movie team will be making an appearance at Comic-Con. So if you're going to Comic-Con, you can check them out, ask questions, see how the movie's going. Casey Hudson, the executive producer, and Mark Protosevich, screenwriter, they're going to be hosting a panel. So you can follow Commander Shepard and what's going on with the Mass Effect movie. And I say this up all the time. I say this all the time. I bought Mass Effect, but I just couldn't get past the first one. Man. I got Mass Effect 2. I bought them both in a deal on Steam. It was cheap. But I couldn't get past that battle system, man. People are like, well, once you get used to it, it's not so bad. Well, once you sit in a boiling pot of water and you get used to it, it's not so bad either. Don't see me doing that. I hated it. I couldn't stand it. I was like, what is this garbage? And they're like, well, the second one's a lot better. And I'm like, okay, I'll play the second one. But then that nerd thing just kicks in. It's like, thou shalt not play Mass Effect 2 until thou hast finished Mass Effect 1. You're like, I must obey. I can't play the second one until I finish the first. It is not going to happen. I must finish the first Mass Effect before I play the second. So that's why I haven't played Mass Effect 2 in a nutshell. This story is over on multiplayerblog.mtv.com. Mass Effect movie team coming to San Diego Comic-Con on July 21st. Now, for our final story, this is something you really don't hear about. You hear about all these different people doing these speed runs, and everybody's finishing these games with high scores, and they finish the game in so many seconds, and they did it with this character only, and you hear about those, but you don't necessarily hear about people who finish a game with the lowest score possible. I was just like, derp. I saw this and I was like, yeah, that's kind of hard to do. But that was where I ended it. I was like, okay. So this guy apparently finished Super Mario Brothers with a paltry 600 points. And I was like, what? Huh? He finished the entire game with only 600 points. So he broke a record for the lowest scoring Super Mario Brothers run. Wow. Congratulations. I mean, I don't know what to say. That's hard. He ran through the game, didn't get hardly any coins, or just didn't kill any enemies, and just avoided everybody, and finished the entire game. Broke a record. You guys can want to try it. Hey, boot up your Super Mario Brothers, see if you can beat it, and maybe you can break the record. Challenge. Oh, challenge. And that concludes our stories for the night. We're going to move on to our next segment where you guys submit stories to moi. And we're going to get into the forum stuff and all that good stuff.
Game Chat with Bwana is brought to you by...
No, it ain't. Forgot. I'm not doing that anymore. So, we're going to go to the forums to see what you guys have in terms of stories. Let's see what we got here about these stories right now. So, I had about 17 stories. That was a lot of stuff. But you guys were still able to find more stories. And we're going to start with Technif in here. Windows 8 will allow Xbox games to be played on PCs. Let me close these other tabs because they're annoying. Windows 8 will allow Xbox 360 games to be played on PC. See how long it takes this to load. It's the blue screen of waiting. Okay. So here we go. Windows 8 will allow Xbox 360 games to be played on PCs. Technolate.com and Insiderist.com have reported that the next versions of Microsoft Windows System 8 will include a function to allow users to play Xbox 360 games on their PCs. Interesting, Game from Windows Marketplace, the previous PC game portal, was integrated into Xbox.com, blah, 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 blah. Microsoft has not made an official statement about this feature yet. From the two sources, blah, 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 the Xbox Live dashboard or Marketplace will be accessible through the PC. They'll be able to download, blah, 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 blah. Service will still cost a subscription fee. Whether existing Xbox Live members will need to pay extra to use the PC extension isn't known. Technical details are very scarce. So, I don't know. This doesn't sound like Microsoft's. This just doesn't sound like Microsoft. I mean, there's a lot of things to consider. There's game balance. If you allow the PC to enter into the world of Xbox Live, you're going to have to block keyboard and mice. People will find a way around that. If you say you got to use the Xbox 360 controller only, people will find a way around that. Hacks. People find a way around that. Just doesn't sound like Microsoft. I'm very skeptical about this. It's right now sitting at rumor status. Just don't see Microsoft doing it. If they do it, that's great. It doesn't follow their pattern of behavior, if I should say. It's going to be a lot of factors, a lot of technical details they're going to have to overcome. But hey, Windows 8, that's not going to be for a while, so they got time, right? Right. Thanks for the story, Techniffin. Let's see. Sony's welcome back package has problems in Europe. Right, you guys remember the welcome back package where you got to choose some games and some content for Sony being down for so long? Let's see. Some companies or some countries here. The UAE, Great Britain, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand. The welcome back offer is not expiring, so those that have purchased a full plus membership are not are not able to access the full plus content. So the welcome back offer is not expiring, so those that have purchased a full plus membership are not able to access the what? This doesn't make sense. This issue is the cause of many of the other problems you have reported here on the blog, such as new so because the welcome back offers are not expiring, people can't get it. Is that? I just had a derp in my brain. I can't process that sentence. Okay. Well, I'll take their word for it. So because the welcome back offer is not expiring, people can't get the content. So hopefully they'll address that soon. So check it out. That's very confusing. Check it out over on Joystick. Thanks for that link, TechNiffin. Okay, Minecraft is now a design tool for 3D printers. And let's see. Someone managed to utilize on Hackaday here. Let's see. There's students at MIT Media Lab. They came up with Minecraft.print, an attempt to create a bridge between Minecraft and real world via 3D printers. Let's see. The print is first prepared by placing obsidian, diamond, gold, and iron blocks in the opposite corners of the model in Minecraft. From there, Python script takes over and parses the world map to generate an STL file for a RepRap or maker bot. Interesting. So they actually have a video here of them creating something in Minecraft and actually printing it with a 3D printer. Very, very cool tech. Very, very cool tech. So I imagine you'd have to make your scales pretty large. Otherwise, you're going to have a blocky thing. Like this companion cube here is pretty big. And you can see from the 3D print that it actually came out pretty good. Very, very cool. That's cool tech there. Minecraft.print. Check it out. Hackaday has a story. Thanks for the story, TechNiffin. Okay. Okay. FishTwit has $6 billion spent by U.S. gamers in Q1. Is this the NPD article? Yeah, it's the same article that I had. Okay. Unless there's something new in that one, so we already covered that. Free identity theft protection offers for PSN users extended. Okay. So if you haven't picked up the free identity theft protection offer from PSN, from the Welcome Back program, that has been extended. Hopefully that's working in other countries. I don't even know if they have something for other countries yet. So it's officially been extended through July 31st. July 31st. That's the extension date. So you got a few more weeks to sign up if you haven't signed up yet. So that's cool to know. Thanks for that link. And comics for TF2, Portal, and Left 4 Dead coming in book form. Saxton Hale. Oh, boy. So if you've kept up with the TF2 comics and the other Left 4 Dead and Portal comics, a 304-page hardcover book, Valve Presents The Sacrifice and Other Steam-Powered Stories, is going to be on sale for $30. For $30 on November 16th. A 306-page copy. Now, that might be actually worth buying, because they got some pretty good comics. Now, they do a pretty good job with their comics at Valve. So thanks for that link, FishTwit. All right, we're going to go down to Emrandil. PC gaming has shot by consoles. I'm assuming that by shot by, he means surpassed. Epic's Mark Ryan says that we're at the stage in the life of consoles where the PC has shot by them in terms of capabilities. Wait a minute. Why? I hate to break it to you, Mark Ryan, but that's been the case for quite a long time. I don't know what just happened with PCs, but ever since the PS3 360 came out, they've kind of been behind in terms of capabilities. Okay. He said current PC gaming tech was 10 times as powerful as current consoles. How is this? Oh, come on, man. This is I'm not in the fanboy stage. This is obvious, man. Every console owner will tell you the same thing. It's not a fanboy statement. It's the facts. PC gaming tech has always been. I mean, that's why it's more expensive. That's the cost justification. Thanks for that link, Emerndale. Okay. Battlefield 3 system requirements revealed. Speaking of PC gaming tech. All right. So this is actually the real one because they had a fake one before. Hopefully this is the real one. These aren't an official announcement from DICE, so we can't confirm the required rig yet. So this might be a duplicate of that one that we saw earlier. Let's look. Processor, quad-core, Core 2 Duo. Yeah, it looks about the same. Recommended is a quad-core Intel or AMD CPU RAM or AMD CPU space RAM. 4 gigabytes. DirectX 11 is recommended. A DirectX 11 card, I should say. 460 Radeon HD 6850. Looks like it's nowhere intensive as Arma 3. Yeah, Arma 3 is looking to be a beast. It's probably going to be one of the benchmarks for PC rigs. But that looks very similar to what we saw before. I wish, I guess they're going to wait for the final build before they, at least a gold master or release candidate of their builds before they release the specs. But I imagine this is going to be true. It's probably going to be a quad-core Intel for recommended and a Core 2 Duo as a minimum, which puts a lot of people out in the dark. That's why I'm saving money for my Battlefield 3 system. Just so you guys know, I'm planning on getting a GTX 560 Ti card upgrade, and I'm going to buy better RAM and better cooling to upgrade to overclock my Core i7. So that's going to be my solution for Battlefield 3. It's probably going to come to like $350 total. So saving my pennies for that. Might actually put up a chip-in widget. Oh, boy. Thanks for the article, Emerndale. Now we're going to move on to Kados. And refresh and make sure I got some new ones. Let's see. New James Bond GoldenEye game to debut this month. Formal announcement is going to take place at Comic-Con. Activision is going to unveil a new 007 shooter based on GoldenEye. The title of the new game may be GoldenEye 007 Reloaded. Oh, man. Now, Activision knows that a lot of us who game today have nostalgia regarding GoldenEye. I don't like Activision. They're gonna do a GoldenEye new game. I don't know if they're gonna use the COD engine or what. But we'll be paying attention to Comic-Con. That's going to be in about 10 days. See what they do with it. Thanks for the link, Kados. Mini Space Invaders arcade cabinet, big on nostalgia, small in size. Bum, 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 bum. Pew! Bum, 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 bum. That thing is tiny. Good grief, man. You're going to catch a cramp playing that. God, look how small that thing is. Look how tiny that thing. And this is so cute. Dun, 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 dun. Wow. The world's smallest Space Invaders arcade machine. This is absolutely amazing. Somebody put this together. I wonder what kind of... I guess I have to watch the video and read more into it. But they got a video up here and everything. That thing is tiny. Mini Space Invaders arcade. Thanks for the link, Katos. That's very cool. All right. EA trolling Modern Warfare 3. What happened here? EA has been throwing trash talk punches throughout the development of Battlefield 3. However, they've taken the fight right to the digital doorstep, purchasing a domain named after. Navigate to modernwarfare3.com. Users are redirected to the official website of Battlefield 3, covered in advertisements to pre-order the game on Origin. Are they sure that EA did this? Are you sure that EA did this? I mean, EA Dice did this? Wow, that would be very, very not smart of them. They could actually get sued for that? Wow. But good story there. Thanks, Wall Online, for that. All right. Michael McAllister has some stories here. XCOM devs Uppercut Games reveals Unreal-powered iOS shooter Epoch. That's a long title. Oh, so many pop-ups. Go away. Eek. Okay. Uppercut Games, newly formed studio founded by 2K Games veterans Andrew James and Edward Orman. XCOM Reboot. The mobile gaming focused studio revealed a first look of the upcoming iOS shooter today, Epoch, which you can check out above trailer. It's an Unreal-powered game that lets you control by using swipes and taps to maneuver your robot, select targets, and put your war-making tools to work. Sounds like an awesome game of Mega Man, blah, 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 Infinity Blade, yeah. And it looks pretty sweet, too. Check it out. Good link. Okay. So if you guys are into iOS games, you might want to check out this one from XCOM devs. Gaming consumer group rallies members to criminalize video games on YouTube. ECA, who is ECA? Electronic Consumers Association, have taken a stand about the Senate Bill S.978. Apparently, the S.978, if you guys haven't heard about it, it's a bill that would make, it's kind of a three strikes bill, very loosely worded, very vague, that it falls into the realm of from doing karaoke to playing a video game live. The verbiage behind it is so vague it could encompass all of that, and that's the problem. It's not specific enough. And the ECA is doing what? Trying to find out what the ECA is doing. Just looking to score another legislature, turning his attention. The ECA is asking concerns consumers to write their local senators and their concerns, facilitate a form letter on their website. Okay, so they got a letter on their website as well. I have been promoting this on my Twitter, that people do it through another site to write their senators. I already sent my letter because this bill is stupid. This bill is pretty dumb, very all-encompassing, very vague, and I really question the motives behind it. It's not a good thing. It's worse than the DMCA. It's worse than all that stuff times 10. Basically, you'll see takedown notices all over the place for any reason at all. It's just that vague. So glad to see the ECA is taking a stance on it. Witcher 2 Studios sued by Namco Bandai. Witcher 2 Studios sued by Namco. Why? The first violation allegedly occurred when the developer released a downloadable version of the game free of digital rights management through its own storefront, Good Old Games. Okay. So they're suing them. That's a lot of text. I can't read all that. Oh, I don't know why they're suing them, but okay. Thanks for the link. Witcher 2 Studio sued by Namco Bandai. Don't have time to read all that. Thanks for the link, Michael. Okay, I think that's it. Woo! What a story. We're at 1 hour and 17 minutes already, and we haven't even gotten to the most important part of the night. I mean, everybody should be knowing about the most important part of the night. It's title time! Where you guys come up with titles. I hope you've got your titles, because you got to look over the stories and come up with a witty title for tonight's show. Let's see if we got some good entries tonight. For them their titles. And here they come. BF3 for PS3 has Frostbite. Get some water while you guys are getting that. The fall of DRM, news at 11. PS2 Total Ponage. Minecraft, print out your... Oh, no, I'm not even going to say that one. EA kicks Steam off the Battlefield. That's actually pretty good. Guy owns dice for every PS2 game he has. Have it your way, Battlefield 3. EA tries to gain Steam via digital distribution. Free to watch. OA gets the green light on DC Universe Online. That is very, very good. Green Lantern powers a mass effect on the battlefield. Wow. No mass effect. No mas. Battlefield DLC E3 and PlayStation region free. Codfish plus starfish equals collective warfare. Stop being stupid on the Hat Fortress 2, you dummy. Galactic warfare, most impressive. Most impressive. But you are not a Jedi yet. EA's feeling the steam, turns on the valve. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good. PSN Pass, Resistance 3 is Resistance 3 is futile. Breaking news, PC has better graphics than consoles. That was a good one. BF3 may not have enough steam. EA takes the steam out of the battle. EA embarrasses. Oh, let's see. Modern Warfare 3 domains taken. Sorry, EA. CODCon 2011. Come get double XP. EA embarrassed self. Crows eats worm. Wow, there's a lot of good ones. All right, let's start getting the best ones out. Here that I like. Here we go. first one. I'm having trouble copying and pasting today because I'm an idiot. Let's get Notepad up here. Alright, so that's number 1. Number 2. These are some really good ones tonight, guys. You did a great job. I might actually do 4 tonight because there was a lot of good ones. Yeah, we're gonna do 4. Okay. Okay. Is B George ready with the bot? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to post these and you guys pick the one that you like by number. You guys pick the one that you like by number. I'm going to post them here once he starts the poll. He hasn't started yet. So here they come. Alright, there's 1, 2, and 4. There we go. Vote by typing in the number. Here they come. And the bot is collecting the results. All right, I think we got most of the people. Let's wait for the iPhone people. It's 5. Oh, you're having issues? All right. Hopefully, there we go. And waiting. And it looks like the winner is 4, which is EA's Feeling the Steam, turns on the valve. Congratulations to, I don't know who gave me that. Who gave me that title? That was 04. Congratulations to 04. Congratulations, you win the title, and there's absolutely no prizes, but you do have bragging rights until next week. Until next week, you have bragging rights. EA's Feeling the Steam, turns on the valve. Turns on the valve. And that concludes episode 23 of Game Chat 1. I want to thank everybody for coming by this week. Like I said, we took last week off. I know you guys were like sad. But we are here this week, and we try to do it every Monday night around 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We actually started like right on time tonight. I'm very proud of myself for doing that. And we talked about the latest gaming news. Sign up for our forums. Go to Bwana.tv/forums and sign up for our ever-growing forums. We got a great community over there. Also, stop by my live channel at twitch.tv/Bwana. It's the same thing as Justin.tv. Don't worry, I haven't moved or anything. Twitch.tv/Bwana and follow the channel. That way you'll know when I'm going live and playing random games like Galactic Warfare and all that stuff. Also follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Bwana and twitter.com/Bwana Live if you want to be notified on Twitter when I go live. I'm also on Google Plus. I think the link is, if you want to add me on Google Plus, Bwana Plus. I think that's right. That's my Google Plus. Yep, Bwana.me/Bwana Plus. You guys can add me on Google Plus, and I want to thank everybody who's added me already. All right, folks, that concludes episode 23, and that was a great show. We only did it for, I don't know, an hour and 26 minutes. Very, very long show. I want to thank everybody for coming by. You guys support the show. Keep watching, keep subscribing, keep spreading the word. And I will see you all next week. Take care. Have a great week.